set to break. Racing. And winning it, El Brooklyn out in the centre. Punch one out, got out fast, and so did Sometimes Speedy going around the outside, but El Brooklyn leads clearly out of the straight. Over Punch one out, Sometimes Speedy. XYLIA Allen on the rail, Orthia Bale followed by Tricky Jade. And well back would have been Evie's Entity down the back. El Brooklyn the front runner. Punch one out is right there a length away. Two to XYLIA Allen running on strongly now. Punch one out hit the front. XYLIA Allen coming with a late run. Punch one out turned in front. XYLIA Allen flying down the centre and arrives to get there. Brilliant win in the Sapphire by XYLIA Allen. Has won down.
Some great names involved there in that 2013 Sapphire Crown, and well, XYLIA Allen not too many better. She was devastating over a variety of distances and certainly one of the best of her era. The sixth event on the card at Sandown Thursday is the Group 1 Sapphire Crown for the girls, arguably the biggest race for the female greyhounds in our sport. And QWARA BALE's your favourite. She opened 260, she's into 240. Immunity's there at 420, unlikely to get a run as a second reserve. Crazy Cool's been firm. SHIMA Classics got out marginally, and Junk Food Junkie's been very firm. There just hasn't been a whole lot of action with regards to this market at the early stage patch, other than QWARA BALE firming up. We'll have a look at the speed map, and look, this is one that you can probably chop and dice a few different ways. A lot of the speed down towards the inside, Crazy Cool, Junk Food Junkie, and then you've got SHIMA Classic, who can be hit and miss patch, but does muster pace really quickly. How did you see the map here?
Yeah, SHIMA Classic, I think a lot revolves around her, especially from the draw, where if she begins well, they're just not going to get around her. But as we've seen so many times, she doesn't begin that well. Last week was a good example how she really accelerated after that. Excuse me. So also see some speed from the likes of Aston Silk and QWARA BALE. I think one's a bit hit or miss as well. She got opportunity last week and took that, but she's not one to really ping the start every week. Yeah,
no, that's certainly the case. Let's have a look at her heat win. She has box number 7 here. As Patch said, not brilliantly away, but she has just elite acceleration, this girl. I guess I get one right every now and again. Patch, we tipped her up at $18 on the catching pen a few weeks ago, and thankfully I've had something on, but at the moment it's just a pocket full of hope.
And she was good. And look, as we say, she wasn't that good to begin, and then she started to get going. And I mean, setting a first split of 5.17, you're not going to win a Sapphire Crown setting a split like that. So she's going to have to begin a bit better, especially with the pressure that's going to be on her inside, and recapture some of that form that she had next to her name through that Warrnambool Cup series.
Yeah, she was a lot quicker from the boxes, wasn't she, in both heat and final there at Warrnambool? But what we see from her in town is it's that second and third splits where she really hits the afterburners. Crazy Cool took out the first heat last week, and she absolutely shanghaied out from the inside here. I didn't really know what to make of this at first watch. Patch 5:02 to the first mark. I was absolutely gobsmacked that Aston Silk could take ground off her late. I just got the impression that they kept her ultra fresh last week, and that took away from her run home time, because I mean, she's a girl who stays 600 in Brisbane. What did you make of the win last week?
Yeah, I think there's more in the tank. I mean, 29.60, she's gone much better in her home state when you're sort of comparing what those times mean at either sort of track. And in terms of her preparation, she did have a look at the track on the Sunday prior, where she went, I think, around a time of 29.50. So there's improvement there in the tank. And I think going around in race 1 last week on a day that was quite ordinary, where there was plenty of rain, the track got better and conditions got better as the night went on. So I think we can take that into consideration as well.
Okay, so again, some pretty good intel there from Patch, who was on the spot last week. This is the replay of Carry On Star. She has the 4 in the replay we're watching. SHIMA Classic is involved in this race. She has the red. She missed it quite badly, drove the speed here to eventually hit the front patch, but then she was a sitting shot for Carry On Star, who he knows quite strong.
She's really strong, and once she got into that sort of spot, I don't think it mattered who was going to be out in front. They were going to be challenged. So she was very good in her own right, and for SHIMA Classic, she just really had to work so hard early on. As we know, she missed the start and had to bury up on the inside, which she did well, but I think missing the start like that, you can't afford to do it in a big final.
Absolutely not. Our last heat winner was somewhat of a surprise in many respects, given her SP. She was a $51 chance, but there's absolutely no fluke about the win. She shows too much speed here for Junk Food Junkie through the pen patch, and then she's really strong to the line. She runs 29.57. It was her first win from 3 attempts there at Sandown. She's won 7 of 14 overall, but it's fair to say she went to a new level here.
She did, especially in the company. I mean, she has had similar performances at different stages in her career, but certainly not in the company that she found herself in last Thursday night. So as we heard from Ben Josky on the Catchy Pen last night, he's quite optimistic of a similar performance, and he's certainly a believer that she's well over the odds.
Yeah. Look, on the bare facts of that win, I could certainly accept that point, but box 5 makes it sticky, doesn't it? Look, I've gone with QWARA, 6, 1, 3 and 7. I said after she won the Ballarat Oaks earlier in the year that I thought by the end of the year she'd be the best bitch in Australia, QWARA BALE, and it's fair to say at various stages since then I've questioned whether I was anywhere remotely near the mark there, but I think she stepped up through Warrnambool and showed everyone certainly what I thought of her in any case. Her win last week, outstanding, given a slowish beginning. I think she can just step a bit better. She's got Mapunga Katie on her outside who won't bother, and Aston Silk, as we know, will run to the right, so she will get the room to operate in. I've got Crazy Cool there for second. I left SHIMA Classic there for third, but she'd need to step clean and lead clean. And I left Mapunga Katie there to run fourth, I do believe, or did I change my mind? No, I put Aston Silk in, but look, I don't think there's much between the 7 and the 8 there for mine. Money.
I'm with Crazy Cool, and I just thought she was so good last week in the way she shanghaied away, and as we've touched on, there's probably some improvement in the overall time that she has set. So I think from box 1, that's a tick. Secondary to that, there's Junk Food Junkie on her outside, who traditionally leaves plenty of room on the fence. So I think for Crazy Cool, there's going to be plenty of room to work with. So I went with her from QWARA BALE. It was so good through that Warrnambool Cup series, but I was just a little bit concerned about the way she began last week. She needs the time to start this time around because we know how good she is at her prime, but she can't afford to get away like that. So given that question that I've got, I just thought she was under the odds, but clearly one to follow going forward, as you said, with third number 3 SHIMA Classic, and if she leads, she wins, but you can't rely on her to do that. Just like last week, she missed it. She accelerated well. So that's the lock about her. She'll accelerate. Will she time the start? That's a big question mark. And Junk Food Junkie for fourth. And with Crazy Cool to take out this year's edition of the Sapphire Crown.
Yeah, I was unlucky enough to run into her at a Wednesday meeting at Capalaba in a grade 5 patch, so you don't have to be dead to be stiff. The next race we're going to have a look at is the feature on the card, I guess the feature for the boys anyway, the Harrison-Dawson Group 1 level. Shimmer Shine's your favourite. He's been 230 out to 240. TIGGERLONG TONK Open 420. He's into 370. Fernando Bluey 750 into 650, and everything else is either holding its position or drifting in this market. The speed map, again, it's probably one you can chop and dice a few different ways, Patch, but I think primarily we'll be looking towards boxes 7 and 8 early.
Yeah, they hold the key. I think for Fernando Bluey, he's a lock to begin well. He's a lock to come down towards the fence. So depending on how the others begin, that is the one certainty about the speed map. So a great race, and I mean a field where it's star-studded. There's a lot more star power than in the Sapphire Crown. You're getting a good price with big profile dogs. So it's a great race to get involved in. It's going to be very entertaining.
We're going to kick off by having a look at the replay of Shimmer Shine, setting the time standard last week, 29 dead. We've been banging on about this for ages. There's no doubt he's the fastest dog in the country, Patch. He's certainly not the best race dog, and he got all the breaks there in the first 4 or 5 strides, didn't he, last week, where there was fresh air all around him. Is it going to be the same for him this week?
Well, that's a question. I think it's an advantage to have Lakeview Walter on his outside, but this run that we see on screen, 29 flat, that's one of the better runs the track has ever seen, and to think that's about a length off what he's gone in the past is crazy to think, but as you say, he's one of the fastest in the country, and just like his younger sister in SHIMA Classic and the Sapphire Crown, it's all about how they get away, because if they do get away well, then they're both extremely hard to beat.
TIGGERLONG TONK was awesome taking out his heat. He has box number 6 in the replay we're watching here, and he just lid pinged. Ran 5 dead to the first mark, Patch, 29.10 overall, so only a length and a half slower than Shimmer Shine. His record from box number 8 is outstanding. He's won 7, runs second on 3 other occasions and missed a hole twice. So in 10 of 12, he's run top 2, and he's well drawn outside Fernando Bluey.
He is well drawn, and I get a bit of deja vu about the Melbourne Cup last year where he drew box number 8, but that was clearly a stronger field than this. As good as this is, it wasn't a Melbourne Cup of last year, and I think for Tonk, it's an advantage to have Fernando Blue on his inside. So if he gets away in the same sort of manner, bang, he's straight in the race.
One of the more visually impressive wins on the night was Catch the Thief's performance, and it could have went pear-shaped for him a couple of times in the run, Patch. Look, even in the past, he's shown himself to be a little bit clumsy when he's behind dogs. I think quite often he finds himself going too quick for the gaps. And that was probably the case here, where he spied half a run back on the inside here, but by the time he gets in there, the run's closed on him.
Yeah, he's probably never really been one to be known as a run-on dog, has he? Even though he probably does have the ability to do it. And he's probably fortunate he did have that wide draw, because he didn't begin awfully well, but just had that room to cart around. So from box 5 this time around, that's going to be the challenge for him.
And Fire Legend, he took out the last of the heats, and this was a race that probably could have gone a couple of different ways. Look, fair to say for the second consecutive week, it's a tough watch if you're on Lakeview, Walter, so maybe just look away for the next 29 seconds. Fire Legend and Lots of Chatter pretty much looked to have it between them for most of the way before Walter erupted late, but look, he's been a wonderful dog for Mark Moroney, Fire Legend. He makes another feature final, Patch. He is well drawn down on the inside. His record here is amazing, but does he have the class?
That's the thing against a field that has so much of class. So, look, we speak about some of the bigger profiles in the race, but he is one that you love to own. You know what you're going to get from him. He loves Sandown. He's now 5 from 5 at the track, and it comes up with a really good draw. So, tough assignment, but can't be dismissed.
No, it's a wonderful race, the 2021 edition. Look, I'm with TIGGERLONG TONK. It's an amazing stat, the Perth Cup winner winning this Harrison-Dawson the last couple of years. It's been the absolute perfect prep race, and the draw just couldn't have gone any better for him. With Fernando Blue to his inside, I expect him to sort of Shanghai out, make his way over to the left. He'll be a lot fitter this week, Fernando Blue, so I think it'd be tougher to run down, but TIGGERLONG TONK's just added that little bit more strength to his game in recent times, and I think he can win it. I went 8-7-3. Lakeview Walter, who's just been devoid of any luck his past two, and equalises. Look, he's a winning chance if those two leaders don't skate straight to the front like the map expects them to. If there's just a little bit of bunching sort of through the pen and he doesn't end up as far back, equaliser, I can see him getting to a winning position down the back, but 8-7-3-4 for me.
Yeah, I read it in a similar way. I'm with Fernando Bluey, number 7, and it was first up for, over a month last week, and we saw that customary speed that he always shows, which had him in a really good position. I just thought there was a bit more bumping between him and Kenya Cruz on the turn for home, as the lateral vision suggested. So I thought his cost a little bit there, and as you said, Wiz, he's got to be better up, second up after a spell. So looking forward to see what he can do. I think he finds a front, and that's why I think he's the value play in the race. Second, I went number 2, Shimmer Shine, and as we say, it's just how he gets away. If he pings a start, if he finds a front, all the best to him. He's going to run 29 flat as he did last week, but it's just that standing up in a big feature race where the pressure is on that he hasn't been able to do consistently. So that's the challenge, but there's no doubting his ability. Third, number 8, TIGGERLONG TONK. And look, he was very good last week, and he will take that advantage from Fernando Bluey coming down. So for all the reasons you suggested, Wiz, he's a big player, an equaliser. I mean, if you're going to try and work out how his race is going to play out, just don't waste your time, because he's going to be slow to begin, and it's about what the other 7 dogs do as to how he gets through, not so much what he does, because the lock is he'll be with the fastest finisher in the race. So it's all about what sort of passage he gets in transit. But Fernando Bluey for mine in what's a sensational edition.
Yeah, so Patch and I think it'll be won by the dogs drawn out wide. Let's have a look at the best bets. I've just found the one. I thought race 10, number 3, Do It, would be pretty hard to beat. Look, he has been tough to catch, or try and catch him lately. He got it right from a draw that he shouldn't by rights, like here in the heat of the Warrnambool Cup, where he's able to run down Ferdinand Boy 25-16. His record here at Sandown's pretty sound. He's run top 2 on 4 out of 7 occasions. Look, I know he's winning from the pink here, but he grows a leg when he's down on the inside. I think 1 and 2 are up out of his way, and if he can get the right drop on them, I think he can get back to winning form. Patch, who's your best?
I've gone with Crazy Cool in the Sapphire Crown. I was going through the meeting this morning and found it difficult to pick out one where I thought, yeah, that one's going to win. But I think the most that I had confidence about was Crazy Cool. And just for all the reasons that we touched on, Junk Food Junkie's likely to give her room. And if she's to begin in the same sort of manner as she did last week, then she's going to be right in the thick of it. There's no doubt about that. And again, the time that she set, it was at probably the worst part of the night, where there was still some water hanging around from an ordinary, typical Melbourne afternoon whiz, but I hope that she can improve from that and therefore add another feature win to her resume and as well for her trainer, Robert Jacobsen.
All right, so race 6, number 1 for Patch, Crazy Cool. A lot of gumption when you're tipping a good thing in a big race. I love it. Quaddie time. Let's skate through these. I went 1, 4, 7 and 8. That was the third heat of the Sandown Cup, that one. Sapphire Crown's the second lead. 1, 3, 6 for me. 3, 4 and 8 in the 7th, which is heat 4 of the Sandown Cup. And then the Harrison-Dawson, I went 3, 4, 7 and 8. Patch saw them similarly, but he's loaded up the last leg. 1, 2, 7, 1, 3, 6, 3, 4, 7, and I just didn't want to die in the last leg, did you, Patch? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 and 8. So I think we know what's going to happen here. Catch the Thief's going to win that, and Carry On Angel's going to run second. So that's usually how it happens. Mate, thanks for your help. We'll see you on Sky Active tomorrow night, I think.
Yeah, myself and Mark Olmos on Sky Racing Active. So we're going through all the races tomorrow night. There'll also be a trial as well from Ice Cream Story during the meeting. Yet to be determined when that will happen, but it's going to be a great night and coverage as well. If you're keen to settle in and watch it all unfold, Sky Racing Active is the place to be. Yeah,
mate, if you don't. All right, thanks, Patch, for your help. Take us to a break. Here's a history package detailing, well, the rich history of the Sapphire Crown and the recent history of the Harrison-Dawson.
A Group 1 doubleheader is set to delight greyhound racing fans this Thursday night at Sandown Park. The first is for the girls, the Group 1 Sapphire Crown, arguably the most prestigious race for female chasers in Australia. The event was first run in 1974 when taken out by South Aussie Bristol Sioux, but it wasn't until 2002 that it was relaunched as a bitches-only feature when won by an almighty Queenslander, one of the 2 winners for Tony Brett.
Baggy Lee's a minute in front off the back straight by 8 lengths. In second placing, Georgia Brown. Over near the inside, then Cola Sandy, but Baggy Lee gives a sparkling display and takes the Sapphire Crown easily by about 8 lengths.
But Queen Lauren in the Group 1, solo Sapphire Crown's off and gone's got an almighty break over Amelia Bale, Kissy and Violet Crumble, but it's all Queen Lauren.
Since then, the Sapphire Crown has been won by royalty in the ranks of the industry. In 04 and 05, champion bitch Power to Burn became the first and only dual victor.
Power to Burn got up on the inside and took the lead from Crystal Lancan. 3 away, Kalimna Rose starting to run home hard. In the straight, and the leader is Power to Burn is clear, and Power to Burn makes it the big double. Power to Burn is a minute in front coming off the back straight over Maddie Kesey and Dynamo Gypsy in the straight though. Power to Burn set for back-to-back Sapphire Classics and wins it by 10 lengths.
And it's also been a major milestone for 3 Australian Greyhound of the Year winners.
Betty's Angel around the outside, followed then by Jar Jar, who's third. About 5 lengths further back, then K-Bell Grande Gold. Over on the inside, Cash Up, Pure Burst as well back with Why Not Gale. And Doss's Angel, Betty's Angel on the outside, hit the front on the turn, dashed away in the Sapphire now. It's all Betty's Angel roaring away at the end to win the big Group 1 by about 5 or 6.
And Sandown Shelby got an inside run to take the lead over Bora Bale. They're out by 3 to Flash of Light, followed by 8 Work and Octea and Queen Lauren, but Sandown Shelby shooting for 3 straight Group 1 Classics. Turned in front of Bora Bale and Flash of Light. Sandown Shelby in front, she does it again. 2 to XYLIA Ellen running on strongly now. Punch one out, hit the front. XYLIA Ellen coming with a late run. Punch one out, turned in front. XYLIA Ellen flying down the centre and arrives to get there.
It's been a race for underrated chasers and their conditioners to burst onto the big stage.
Narrowly the front runner, Folio Bales railed up the second, then Shared Equity, Nymeria running on, followed by Mapunga Fame off the back. Narrowly the front runner, going after it, Folio Bale. Narrowly and Folio Bale turn together, Narrowly kicking strongly, Folio Bale, Narrowly I think's kicked and won Narrowly to Folio Bale in the Group 1. Off the back, Maya Mahi, the front runner, out to Uphill Jill, Striker Light there, clear to Princess Pout, followed by Dash of Rose on the turn though. Maya Mahi in front, Uphill Jill coming late, Maya Mahi in front and gets there.
And just last year, one of the best of her era shed the bridesmaid tag.
leader. Here comes Black Opium diving to the inside a length away. Just held up for a stride or two and then Spring Fair as they turn. Aston Silk the leader, grabbed by Black Opium who surged through. Black Opium takes the lead and she lands that elusive Group 1 victory.
Then it will be on to the boys for the Harrison-Dawson. The race is named after three of Sandown Park's finest servants. Henry Harrison, who served as the chairman of the club for 23 years, his daughter Loretta, and Harrison's son-in-law Jeff Dawson, who filled the chairman position for over 3 decades. Since being run in its current format, there have been 9 deserving winners, highlighted by a white and brindle speedster who many consider the GOAT.
Fernando Bale, 7 lengths in front of West on East, Caustic Bale in third. 4 further back to Usain O'Nutty, then Cisco Rage and Gangnam Style. Fernando Bale in front, simply outstanding. He won it by 3 on West on East, Caustic Bale.
Then there's his son, who would go on to do what his father couldn't in winning the Tab Melbourne Cup just a few months later.
My Redeemer goes to third, 2 lengths away. Hecton Bale running on, they're not available, hasten slowly. Bernardo leads on the turn, My Redeemer, zipping Captain Hecton Bale. My Redeemer going after Bernardo. Bernardo grabbed by My Redeemer, My Redeemer.
We've also seen a Kiwi conquer the Aussies.
Down the back and it's Clone Your Own sweeping to the front now. Emery Bale going with it, followed by a Premier Event. Glenn Gallen trying to wind up with the ex-Kiwi. Clone Your Own on the corner in front. Emery Bale on the rail, but Clone Your Own kicked away. Emery Bale coming late. Clone Your Own in front and Clone Your Own wins the Harrison-Dawson.
And in the last 2 years, the prize has gone to the reigning Perth Cup champion.
Orson Allen highballing off the railway side, led it by 4. Southern Ripple went to second, then Dinah Runther and Flynn. It's Orson Allen the leader, turned by 2. Southern Ripple runs a race, but Orson Allen goes all of the way. Simon Told Helen led by 4. Jack's Bale trying to close in and then Short Fork, and the rest headed by TIGGERLONG TONK as they wheel. Simon Told Helen the leader, 2 lengths to Jack's Bale. Simon Told Helen simply the best, wins again.
What a night we've got ahead of us this Thursday.